you guys out there. My name is Sandra Weckert. I'm a jazz musician, a teacher, and an entrepreneur. And in all those different social roles, I made the same experience over and over again, which experience, the experience of being an outsider and being spat out by the system that I was just in time after time. As a teacher in the educational system, as a coach and trainer in the economic system, and as a student in the academic system. It really always felt like being kind of a rotten potato that was swallowed by accident and had to be spit out. And this problem, which I couldn't solve for decades, was on one hand feeling and experiencing the enthusiasm of my audience, the desire to learn of my students, and to experience the incredibly efficient, highly emotional success of all people involved. This was on one hand. And on the other hand, to be exposed to the rejection by a bureaucratic, encrusted patriarchal structure of companies and authorities, which ensured that the more emotional and effective the development process was, the faster it was ended. So this was something sometimes can be extremely abrupt. And not only did I fail, but again and again it caused lots of suffering for all the people involved. But as I am a musician, I would like to show you briefly an excerpt from one of my music videos, and afterwards I will tell you how I changed my mindset from the problem of being an outsider to the solution. This way of education brings out the upcoming leaders for the 21st century. So now I'll show you this little excerpt. Let's start.
You try to put me down to the ground, deeper down underground. I'll keep on moving. I'll be believing in me, in my world, in my song, in my vision. No matter how you may try to hurt me, I'll keep on striving for goals beyond reason. I'll keep on singing, hear me singing this song of my life like a song on repeat.
Okay, so now you got an impression of my problems, of my failures, and which lasted really, I tell you, it lasted for 2 decades until I discovered Ken Wilber and spiral dynamics. And this model of development of human consciousness and the values associated with it, which are different at every level, was the key that I had been missing, the key that I was looking for. To simplify the enormous complexity of the model so that everyone can understand it, I visualized it as an iceberg in which all levels are always present and all have an equal value. The model of the iceberg is just as easy to understand as the benefits of the experience of cooperation and concentration in a self-chosen role as in a big band. And so we combine the roles in a big band with the training of future leaders in any social system. be it in schools, be it in classes, in companies, or individually. Because the roles in a big band correspond to the roles in any living, well cooperating system, such as in our bodies. The managers, these are the bass players. The drummers, these are the ones who supply the system with energy. The keyboarders, these are the ones who like to mediate between the individual organs, and the trumpets, trombones, and saxophone players are the creative project managers, the designers, the marketing specialists. Yeah? And the singers, you might guess, these are the salespeople. The IT, the technician, provide and take care of the infrastructure, and the conductor, that is the leader personality who connects all the organs with each other in a meaningful way, like a tailor does with clothes. How one matures from a student to a leader personality, as this and which communication tools are helpful in this process, is something that we teach and train in our 1-year training program we call PEP, means Processor Empowering People. And we cooperate with teachers and schools who share our values of mindful development, such as Mark Schneider, whom I will now briefly hand over the word.
Yeah, thank you. And as you said, as a teacher right now, I'm teaching migrants or immigration courses I'm holding. And it was always impressive to see that how these people coming from different cultures and different backgrounds, they have some things really in common. And if you are able, instead of changing the outside, to allow them to really kind of get in connection and contact with themselves again and connect to their values and see that they are kind of universal values beyond religion and culture, how empowering that is. And what I've done with the charity founded, developed a program which is called WUPI, which has 12 values, spiritual values, which you find originally I took from Buddhism, which is very much about personal development, growing from oneself into the group and then extend into impact into society. And it was impressive to see the change in young people when they hardly can speak a language, how they can connect if they can be of service to others, and how, if you give space, to find their own place in it. And working with you, I saw that this being in a band and playing music together allows personal development if it's guided. And with the values we are training, it's doing not only what to train, but how to train it, how to use meditation, how to use compassion, that you connect with yourself, have an authentic connection with others, and then have the courage to even go in contact with people you don't know in a foreign country and go to places you were scared before. And so this is a contribution we are doing with your method. And I see that this leadership training, which I brought from my business background, is so applicable in education that every young person is a leader for their life. And to bring that out with music, like in this big band method, and have supported that with values, is an incredible tool. And I just want to briefly show what we did last year on the SDG Festival of Action in Bonn, the Global Action Summit, where we presented that approach. And we showed that there's these 3 areas of development. And every student of mine, I'm so impressed that they really find their own translation of these words and connect that they have an area where they're just responsible for themselves. They're sharing responsibility with same-minded people. And there's the open society where they can kind of go into the area. So this is something I can go later on for the question and answer, but for now I would like to hand over back to you and say this kind of leadership training has a really special taste, and especially with the enthusiasm. People kind of get in contact when you present it.
So thank you very much, Mark, but you didn't mention the best thing. And the best thing is, while we are sitting here and having our little speech, we are conducting a joint workshop together with Mark's welcome classes in Berlin-Pankow, a school for orphans in Uganda, and a group of young team developers from Casablanca who are connected via the internet and corona conform, do this workshop from today till Friday the 13th, like 5 days working together. Yes, and the result of this we will present in the workshop on November the 16th at 5 p.m. here at the Relon Festival. So how exactly this looks like, I will show you now with the example of the young team developers in Casablanca, and afterwards you will have the opportunity to ask Mark and me your questions. So. What? I did it.
إلا كانت كازا سيمفونية راه بطبيعة الحال غتكون سيدي مومن هي الباطري، كما على باطري واحد آلة إيقاعية ولا الدور ديالها هو ريتميك، كذلك أحياء الشعبية هي عندها واحد الدور ريتميك مستقيم. مارس 2019 كانت البداية ديالنا مع غوت اللي الله جا وبدينا كنكتشفوهم وتنتعرفوا عليهم وفي نفس الوقت كيعلمونا.
كانت اول مره غادي نلعب في باندا كبيره بزاف، حيتاش نورمالمون حنا كنلعبوا غير في باندا، واحد في جيتار واحد في باس، ماكسيموم 7 ديال لي بيرسون كنلعبوا موسيقى.
الموسيقى واحد اللغه ديال العالم كامل اللي اي واحد غيتفاهم. هذا هو اللي خلانا حنا نكون نعيش واحد الجو عائلي.
بديت اول ورشه ديالي في الساكسوفون وما كنت كنعرف حتى شي حاجه في الساكسوفون، ولكن بداو معنا لي كوتش ديالنا بشويه بشويه حتى تعلمنا، ودابا في اليوم وليت انايا اللي كنعلم دراري اخرين اللي حتى هما ما كيعرفوا والو، ويقدروا شي نهار حتى هما يعلموا شي وحدين اخرين. انا كقائده دابا كنظن انه الكونسيرت ديال نهار الاربعاء غادي يدوز مزيان، حيتاش كنحاول انني نعطي كاع داكشي اللي عندي للتلاميذ اللي جاو جداد باش حتى هما يكونوا مزيانين ويتعلموا مزيان، ويدوز الكونسيرت ديال نهار الاربعاء كاحسن كونسيرت عندي في حياتي.
So, you guys, we are ready now for your questions and like to answer them. Go ahead.